Hey guys, today I want to do a review on the LG 65UF8500 Smart 4K 3D TV. And I've had this thing for a while, and I've had it for almost a year now. And so I want to give a long-term review on what I've thought of it so far. Now, if you're not familiar with Subwoofer 101 and what I do on this channel, I discuss good quality subwoofers. I, talk about why that's important, what you're missing, what you gain with good quality subs, how to set them up, and all that kind of thing. It's kind of a, an obsession of mine. So that's what I do. And I have the dogs. That's a bear on the left and Angel on the right. And they show up in the videos from time to time. But anyway, I want to do a review on this TV. Oh, and one other thing. I am the world's first SVS affiliate. And if you're unfamiliar with SVS, they're one of the best subwoofer makers in the world. And they're really good at what they do. Their subwoofers will go down audibly beyond what I can hear in most cases. So, and it's not just, they make noise there. It's actually powerful and authoritative. So I've been a fan of their subwoofers for a long time. And when I got into doing this channel, I contacted them, and, we kind of worked back and forth, and now I'm their first affiliate, and I'm pretty happy about it because their products are just outstanding quality. These subs in particular, these are the PB2000s. They're phenomenal, and you'll notice I have two of them. There's a reason for that, and you guys can check out the rest of my channel for why that's important. But it's extremely important, especially when you start getting into good quality stuff. It makes a difference. So anyway, I'll get on with this TV review. Like I said, at the end of the video, I'm going to talk about some funny things that has happened with this TV, so you might want to pay attention toward the end there. But anyway, so now that the news is worn off, what do I think of it? I still really like this TV. I'm not in a hurry to replace it or anything like that. Overall, I'm really satisfied with it. It's got a beautiful picture. Much better. The TV I had before this was a Vizio, and the same size, 3D, but it was 1080p. I stepped up to the 4K, and I really noticed a huge difference. So that's pretty analog. This is a straight up, side-by-side comparison, both passive 3D TVs, and the 4K made a difference. Now maybe, the picture quality is better on an LG, but I don't really think that's what it is. I do think it was the 4K. It upconverts. Even 720 content, it upconverts that. So everything looks better on this. Which is when you go back to when you watch a regular DVD instead of a Blu-ray, you do notice the differences. Blu-ray definitely obviously looks better, but it's one of those things you notice. I really prefer the 4K. I wouldn't go back. Some people say it's not worth it. I do. I think it is worth it. And this TV has good off-axis viewing. You can be sitting way over here, and you can still see it really well. The 3D still works from over there, so I'm real happy about that. And one of my first videos on this channel was about the audio return channel, which is basic HDMI cable that connects the TV to your amplifier. And if you're not familiar with what that does, it basically sends all of the TV information to the amplifier. And basically the same way an optical cable would do, but the difference is the TV will control the amplifier. So when I go to turn this TV on, I just power it on. I don't have to power on the amp, it just comes on with it. I do all of my volume and stuff like that through the TV. So it just simplifies things. I don't have to go turn on this, turn on that, it's all simplified. So I like that. When I do have to use the Denon remote is when I have to make changes to the Denon itself, or if I'm wanting to use the Denon to do some switching. All of my switching is done through the TV, so my receiver doesn't really have that much going on with it. It just has one HDMI connection going into it, and that's it. I've got a whole bank of HDMIs and inputs and all that stuff that I don't even use. So the TV handles all of that. Now, I don't have a bunch going on here. If I wanted to add more inputs, I could run them through the Denon AVR, and I could do the switching through there. It'll work with the ARC both as an input and an output. So It's kind of a cool thing, but I let the TV do all the switching just because it's easier. And you know, when you go through and you mess with this thing, it's got a really good you know, smart function. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, this is the Magic Remote, and it's a really good remote. And the newer ones actually have pause and things like that, so kind of a cool thing. But you can shake this remote, and then up comes the pointer, right? So it's kind of like a Wii remote. You just point it wherever you want to go. It's kind of cool. I changed it to the bird instead of just a regular pointer. But you know, so I've got some things running on here, and then I've got some things that aren't running. So I want to show you the differences. So this is YouTube. I'm going to go over to Spotify. Bang, we're there. It's done. Everything's already loaded. It just stays running in the background. So I'll switch back to YouTube. Bang, right back to the same spot. You're not having to go through and reload the program and find the spot you were at and do all that stuff, right? So it's all there. It's all very quick. Now, live here, I'm going to switch over to Netflix, which I haven't run today, and I'll show you how long that takes to get set up. Okay. It's not too long, but it's, you know, pretty quick. So you can kind of run through and stuff like that. So I'll switch back over to YouTube, and like I said, all very quick. It's so much better than the Vizio was, and I'm not trying to pick on the Vizio, but I bought the Vizio I think in 14, maybe, yeah, I think it was 14, 2014, I mean, and it was all right, but it was nothing in comparison to this thing in terms of how quick everything is. I mean, it was just so much faster. So I really like the smart functionality. And another thing about you know, when you're getting, at least I know with passive 3D TVs, you want to make sure that you don't get too big of a TV for your environment. You have a minimum viewing distance, and I don't. I do this all the time, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know the exact minimum viewing distance for this TV. I'll probably put it down in the comments if I remember, but there is a minimum distance. So you wouldn't want to put this TV in a really, really small room, because once you get so close, the 3D effects start to fuzz together. So you need to make sure, and I guess it's good that I don't have those here, the minimum distances, because it could change. So whenever you're going to look at this TV or any other passive 3D TV, make sure the distances are not too far away. Make sure that you're not putting it in too small of a room. Because yeah, it might be great to have a 65-inch TV when you're, you know, 5 feet away from the panel, but if it's fuzzing up on you, it does you no good. I mean, it'll still work in 2D just fine, but when the 3D function happens and you're too close and it's fuzzy, you're going to be really upset with your purchase. So that's one of those things that I would definitely caution against. All right, so we've been over the functionality. WebOS is the smart functionality of this, and like I said, I really like it. You know, of course, it's great for YouTube. That's what I watch all the time. You know, quick transition. Sorry, I'm going over my notes here. One of the things about passive 3D, if you guys don't know, the glasses are just a lot cheaper. And if you're looking to go 3D from something else and you can't decide between active and passive, the great thing about passive 3D glasses is if you go to the movies and you go to a 3D movie and they give you the glasses and you go home, those will still work on your TV. It's the same technology that theaters use. So that's kind of nice. A theater definitely wouldn't use an active system, because those things are like 20 bucks a piece for the glasses. They got, you know, 50 people in a theater. That's a lot of money, and they're not going to get them all back. So the passive glasses are a lot less expensive. And I'll put a link down below for some passive glasses, a big old pack of them on Amazon. Good deal on those. I bought a pack of them back when I first bought the Vizio, and I still have the same glasses. So it's great because you never know how many people you're going to have over, and then, you know, all of a sudden, if you don't have enough glasses, it's not fun for anybody. So anyway, you know, and my other thing too is people have said 3D is dead, and I hope not. I think 3D needs to live. I really like the effects, especially with 4K. On the 1080p panel, it wasn't, I mean, it was nice. It was really nice. I did enjoy it. But with 4K, you get more resolution, and it's just a sharper picture when you're in 3D, which is nice. I mean, that's what you're looking for. So let's see, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to discuss on this TV. Everything was pretty good. You know, some of the things I don't like, you know, with anything, I've said this before, anything that's smart will get done. And what I mean by that is you'll have stuff freeze up, you'll have to restart the TV. You know, you'll have stuff like that happen. I mean, the best functionality I've seen so far has been on a Roku 3 and probably the 4, I'm sure. I haven't tried that one yet. That's a very, very stable platform. But even with the Roku TVs, you know, they've got these Roku specific TVs, which I think are great for people that just want something simple, particularly if like if you've got someone who's not real tech savvy, or say someone who's a little bit older that doesn't understand or isn't really good with that kind of thing. The Roku TVs are awfully simplified, and so I really like those. But the platforms on them are really good. But in terms of, you know, stability and stuff, you know, even the Roku TVs, and I'm talking the smaller $200 ones, aren't quite as good as this or the Roku 3. You know, this one does it almost as good as the Roku 3 as far as stability, but the cheaper TVs, the cheaper Roku TVs aren't quite as good, but still very stable. In comparison, my Vizio, and again, we're talking a couple years older, was really bad. I mean, I had to restart it all the time trying to try out new smart features. So I think processor speed and stuff like that really makes a difference. And, you know, and this TV isn't perfect. There is some flash lighting that can occur. For me, it's right up in the corner here. I don't know if that's got kind of a bad reflection, but up toward the left, there's a little bit of flash lighting. Sometimes to the right, but really it's just more in that corner. And people say you can, you know, just kind of massage them a little bit and get that to go away. I did that a little bit and it helped, but it's still there. If you're looking for absolute perfection, you know, I don't know if you're ever going to find a TV that's absolutely perfect, but in terms of being a really good TV for the value, I think this is it. I mean, yeah, it's got that flash lighting issue, and that you only see when it's really dark at night and you're in a really dark screen on the TV. Then you might notice it. But for me, having had this thing for a year, it's like, oh yeah, there it is, and I'm not like, oh, I hate this thing. You know, it's fine. It's just a small flaw. You could probably call the factory. They'd probably take care of it. For me, it wasn't even a big enough deal to contact them. So if that gives you an idea of how bad it is, for me, it's not a major issue. But I did want to let you know that that's an issue I've had. And, you know, as far as a couple of the funny things that I've had go on with this, there are a couple issues here. All right, so this is all the smart functionality. These are your main menus, right? You've got all of your, you know, My Channels, Netflix, Spotify, and then you can go over, and this is a couple more things like Hulu and Comcast, all this stuff, right? And then you can go to the right, and on the right, you've got even more options, and they're just the same, but not as, you know, commonly used. So you can use the web browser. It works really well. In fact, I'll go ahead and boot that up for you, just so you can get an idea of how quick it is. That was not booted, so that's how fast it takes for it to do the switch over. So it's pretty quick. Again, the smart functionality on this TV is good, and I'm sure the newer ones are even better. The 2017 models coming out, that kind of thing. But Smart Share. All right, so a couple of the little things that I have to do. There's one more thing. This remote is radio, right? So it works from outside. So, you know, just if you're outside and you've got the windows open and you're listening to music and you want to change a channel, you can take the remote out there with you and change the channel. That's really cool. I like the radio remote. But to start the thing up, it is line of sight. Now you'll see this SVS speaker here. It's a little tall, right? I've got the TV moved up as high as I can. I'm going to see if I can saw down that bracket a little bit and bring it up a notch. That would solve this problem. This problem is specific because of my setup. But what I'll have to do is I'll have to go in here and adjust, and just to turn the thing on and aim right between the speaker and the little receiver there to get it to turn on. Like, it won't turn on just from radio. It has to have line of sight. So it's like the big hassle I have with this thing is having to do that. Sorry, this thing's going out of control here. So that was an issue, but again, that's kind of specific to mine. Normally you will have line of sight. The way that speaker is set up, it is just below, it's above the bevel on the bottom, but it is still below the actual screen. So it works out just right, but it's just been in the way. So that's, something like that's so minor. But the other two things that are funny is the Smart Share. Now, I'm not going to engage it because I don't know what's going to come up. It's kind of like a lottery as far as what pictures are going to come up. And it samples off of, other computers that are on the network. And you wouldn't think that'd be a big deal, except when you have a friend over and they want to use your network and you set it up, and then you go to Smart Share, and then you're seeing pictures that they probably didn't want you to see. So, again, be careful with that one with the Smart Share. The Smart Share function, by the way, does work really well. You can stream movies and things like that. I'll put videos that I record and stuff like that on an external hard drive on my my router, and I'll be able to access that hard drive from the Smart Share. So it's really cool, and so it gives you some great options, but you just have to be aware of what it might pull up. And then my last thing is this function, and I'll see if I can find it. Let's see, let's go into the advanced settings. And by the way, I never really did professionally calibrate this thing. I know you can do that. I know it's a good thing. I just haven't done it. But I've got it tuned the way I like it. But anyway, I want to show you this, if I can find it. There was this thing, yes, Live Plus. All right, so I had some friends over, and what we were doing is just sitting around talking. And we were talking about some things, and one of the things was, we were talking about Reiki massage. Okay, we're just really off the wall kind of thing. Well, it was just kind of unknown. It wasn't anything of a big deal. It was just like, oh yeah, Reiki massage. We've heard about that, and that was it. Later that day, a friend that was over here, she was at home. And then she got an ad for Reiki massage on her cell phone. That's a little intrusive. And I looked into it, and I'm like, what is this option? And then I found Live Plus. So I went in and turned this off, and we haven't had a problem since. We haven't had any more eavesdropping. And I know that we're in a world where, everything, they say to put tape over your camera on your laptop and stuff like that. I agree with that. Anyone can access your stuff if they really want to. But I just found that blatant. I was really surprised. Oops, switched over to Comcast. Didn't mean to do that. So anyway, again, this thing switches really quick. And I don't want to say that's specifically LG that's doing that. I think they're all doing that. I think it's nice to have an option to turn that off. But as far as how much it's actually turned off, I'm not entirely sure. And the way they do that, by the way, is there's a microphone in here. Okay, so I'll show you this neat little trick. Subwoofer 101, 2 versus 1. Oh, I don't know if that's going to work out. Nope, that didn't work out. Subwoofer 101 PB2000 review. Okay, so you can just speak it in there. It does a pretty good job, and it pulls up what you're looking for. And you've got, web results, or you've got, YouTube results. So it's kind of a cool thing. It makes looking stuff up real simple. But anyway, so overall, I gotta say I'm really happy with the TV. I would buy another one today if I could. And if you guys want to support this channel, you can. I'm going to put the link down below. And if you buy it from Amazon, you can get the Square trade warranty. And I believe you can get a full 5 years over other options that you can get elsewhere. Now, what I did with this TV is I bought it from Best Buy. And Best Buy does not carry SquareTrade. They've got their own. So what I did was I called Best Buy and I said, hey, I bought this, or not Best Buy, I called SquareTrade directly. I said, hey, I bought this TV and I'd like to get a SquareTrade warranty. Because Best Buy doesn't carry SquareTrade, they offered me a warranty right there. Now, I've bought some other things in the past from stores that do carry SquareTrade, and in those cases, they won't let you buy it from them. You have to buy it from the retailer. But because I bought it from Best Buy, and they don't have SquareTrade through them, I was able to buy it through them, and I was able to get a 4-year replacement warranty. The same type of warranty that allowed me to buy this thing when my other TV died. Now, if I didn't have that warranty, I don't know what I would have done, because I didn't have the money to go out and get a brand new TV like this. I probably would have gotten a 2D TV, and just, I don't know, wouldn't have been as cool. But it really paid off. And if you buy this TV through Amazon, then you can get the full 5-year through SquareTrade. Now, that's the last I checked. I don't know if it's different now. You guys can check it out and let me know if I've got any bad links or anything, or any links that don't make sense. I know, like, when it comes to technology and stuff like that, products change and stuff like that. So, I don't know how long this TV will be available on Amazon. But if you guys do that and you go through and you purchase it from Amazon, that's awesome. If you click my link right before you buy, it'll support this channel and the reviews I do and stuff like that, and I really appreciate it. But this is one of those cases where I can say, yeah, absolutely, I would get it from Amazon because of the fact that you can get the SquareTrade warranty, and the SquareTrade warranty is the most, it's very comprehensive. It's drop and spill, so if someone's playing Wii and you get a remote in the TV, that kind of thing, I believe is covered. So that's huge. I mean, that's an insurance policy that is very useful. But it's also cheaper. I checked the warranty with Best Buy, and I think it was almost double in price. And so it saved a lot of money in terms of buying the warranty. So again, when it comes to something like that, I would absolutely buy an aftermarket warranty. Your smaller purchases, not so much. I mean, like a tablet, a $200 tablet has like a $50 SquareTrade warranty price. That's not very good, I don't think. It's a little expensive for only a $200 option, but because tablets break all the time, they have to raise the price on those. But generally speaking, for something this size, a TV like this, it really makes a lot of sense to have a SquareTrade warranty for something like that. But anyway, that's my review. Hopefully you guys found it useful. I know it's long. We're going on 23 minutes here. But I want to give you an in-depth review. I've had this TV for quite some time, like I said, almost a year, so I've gotten to know it pretty well. And as far as its flaws, there aren't many. It's a really good panel overall, especially if you're looking for 3D. The Vizio didn't even have the 3D option. And quite honestly, this was the last passive 3D option that was available to me at the time without spending a lot more money. So anyway, guys, hopefully that helps. Please hit the subscribe button or the like button. Those are ways to support this channel that are free, and I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.